Hey, and brothers, what you doing?
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here waiting to be on. Yay!
I'm flashing our logo on the screen. Woo, brothers, sisters, live on Wednesday, hump day. I know, that was fancy, wasn't it?
That was super fancy. I'm impressed with us.
I know, I'm
Well, I'm
becoming
impressed with
very
you.
technological.
I didn't do anything, so.
You got yourself here, Ann. You got yourself here. So good job.
Thanks.
As you can see, I'm wearing a hat and a sweatshirt today because it's chilly right now in western Wisconsin. It was about 45 degrees today. It rained. The sun is finally starting to peek itself out, though. I think we are clear of the rain, which is nice. So yeah. Did you guys get rain today?
No, we got a lot of rain yesterday, but it was really overcast and chilly today, but like just more damp. It was in the mid 60s, so it wasn't like cold or anything, but kind of damp. Mom and Dad were in Ann Arbor today, so at Dad's doctor's appointment, so that went well. We had some lunch together. That was nice. So it was just kind of
Cool.
it's just kind of gray and ugly. It's supposed to be gray and ugly here just about all week. So, but not
That sounds like
supposed to be. I think tomorrow's supposed to be our chilliest day, low 60s. So
nice. Very cool.
okay.
Well, I know it's okay. Here we are on a Wednesday, the first full week of September, and we got a special treat today. We got special guests today, which we often do on a Wednesday. And we're talking art today with Lisa and the Randy of Tin Cat Studio. They are based over there and towards the Luck/Balsam Lake area in Wisconsin, which is just up the road. So we're gonna bring them on. We're gonna show some of their art. We're going to ask them a bunch of questions. Ooh, in fact, you know what I got to do real quick? I got to do a share screen real quick, like a bunny. Present. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. So, is it sharing? Is it sharing? Oh, Chrome tab. Okay. Now it is totally sharing. All right, let me do one of these.
Nice job.
Nice. I know. I'm excited about this today. All right, so I think what we'll do now, I'm going to do this again. And let's bring out Lisa and Randy into it. Here they are. They're here.
Hello.
So we have with us Tin Cat Studio, Lisa and the Randy. So, Randy, I have a question. Does everybody call you the Randy, or is that just an affectation from Joe and I?
That is Joe, you and Joe and Chad and a few people, and then there's other people that refuse to call me that.
Why?
Instagram handle is now the Randy Lee, so it's it's a 50-50 thing. My kids, of course, will never call me anything except for Doofus. So
yeah, kids never realize how cool we are. That's the problem.
That's true. That's totally 100% true. So, so Lisa and the Randy, what I did is I went ahead and made a little Google slide presentation with some stuff in it, pictures, questions for you guys to answer. So if you don't mind playing along with us, is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and bring this into the stream. And look, I made a picture with you guys on it. So
yeah, good chat.
Wow. I'm amazing. All right. So I'd like do me a favor. I want you to start by simply telling us your story. So Tin Cat Studio, tell us your story, you guys.
Well, I was born in a very cold day in March, and the rest is history.
How far back? Well,
our story about how we met and started, or our story about the art, just the art, starting with the art.
Which one do you want to tell? Because I'll listen to both, to be honest with you. I already know your story because I facilitated your wedding. So I know that story. I know. Thumb. I know. So far weddings, you guys, I am batting 66% right now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
It's better than the national average.
Yeah.
I know. I'm excited about it. All right, no. Tell us the story of Tin Cat Studio. How did all this come to pass?
All right. So Tin Cat Studio was born from Images by Lee Photography. So I created Images by Lee Photography when I lived in Eau Claire. It was a photography business, basically full running studio. Did a lot of portraits, a lot of weddings, and that type of thing, and dabbled in the art. I always felt my creative side was in the art more so than there's a lot of portrait photography out there. So the art is a way to, express yourself, I guess. So I really hadn't found my style, so to speak, until I actually met Lisa. She kind of sent me in the right direction, as she does every day. If I have a thought, she sends me in the right direction.
I'm going to put this out there that Lisa, you are Randy's muse.
Yes.
Oh,
There's so much nicer than what he usually says.
it's important that whenever a man has a thought, that a woman directs him in the correct direction, because otherwise, it's just a mess.
Yeah. It's amazing that how that works. Yes, I feel like I'm going to do this today, but instead I'm going to do this today. So.
Yes.
That's good. That's for the best.
Yeah.
So when I actually met him, he also had he was doing the portrait stuff, and then he had a kind of a art side business with his friend from high school, and they did what they called industrial kind of art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what you want to call it?
It was urban industrial, really. All basically focused and centralized out of Milwaukee. Now I'm from Eau Claire, so obviously Milwaukee's not real close, but we kind of worked collaboratively over the phone a lot, and occasional emails and texts about framing ideas. So a lot of it focused on the frames more so than the actual image. I mean, people were always talking about the frame and how they're different from traditional frames. Basically, we just kind of broke all the rules. We just went and said, why does every frame have to basically look the same? Why does it have to be this box that you just put a picture in, and why does it end there? Why can't the frame become part of the piece? And so that's kind of what we did. We started thinking about different ways to incorporate wood and metal and various industrial looking things into the frames, and that's where it was kind of born from.
Nice.
And then he met me, and he moved up here, and I wrecked that relationship.
Yay! Yeah, Lisa. Now, Ann, I wanted to point something out. You actually have a Randy Lee frame in your home.
I do. Actually, I was going to make Duncan go upstairs and get it because I forgot to bring it down. So
that's cool. Right on.
It's the one by the Jenny's door.
Is it the palm? Exactly. You thought you weren't going to do that. You are now.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
I'm directing him.
All right. While Duncan is getting Ann's frame, let's talk a little bit about the technique. So, for instance, you had talked about this a little bit earlier, Randy, and so I would love to know, in terms of the photography, what equipment are you using? What kind of photography? We had a young man on 2 weeks ago, Jacob Hausman, and he is still very much a film photographer. And so my question to you is, as far as photography, what are you doing? And then you talked about the art, and for me, I didn't know really what to call it, so I called it the finish work that you do, because it really is fabulous and unique. And then, of course, I wanted to talk about your framing as well, because that is, to me, is as much a part of the art that you do as anything. So, Ann, why don't you go ahead and show us the frame? This is a poem that a gentleman in New Orleans wrote for my sister. One of those guys that's on Royal Street. He just sits there with a typewriter. You tell him about something or someone, and then he on the spot writes you a poem. And then Randy framed that poem for me for your birthday, or no, it was for Christmas. And so, yeah, that's a great example of some of the artwork that TinCast Studio can do when they're making a frame.
Wasn't this like a barnwood?
Yep. So it's barnwood and then the metal corners. Yep. Yep. We incorporate a lot of that reclaimed, repurposed type style of wood and metal, and combining wood and metal to give it that different look. And it's always different. It's whatever we can think up, create. And some work, some don't. We have a pretty good track record of overall combining the image with the frame for a good, but they don't always turn out and they don't always sell. So that's where you learn the hard way what works and what doesn't. So
For sure.
As far as the photography, everything starts. Every piece of art starts as our own photograph, and we do have to explain that to people a lot of times because they're always like, "Well, where do you get the pictures?" Well, we take the pictures. So every picture or component of each piece starts as a photo or multiple photos of our own. So whether it's Lisa's or mine or both. Like this piece here, Lisa really likes to focus on the macro or flower photography, the up close type things, nature. My inspirations come from pretty much anything that's rust or old school. I mean, when I first started the photography thing, the first things that drew me into photography was capturing things that are going away. Like my grandparents grew up on a farm. So I just had this thing about barns and how if you capture them in a photo, well, it's a timeless piece because barns, they're not building barns like this too much anymore. A lot of times it's metal, pole barn. And like this barn that's up here now, I mean, it's a simple barn, but it's set in the snow and it gives that contrast and then the frame completes it. But the barn, what I like about the barn is that there's nothing crowding it. So it's the simplicity of the scene. So there's no new buildings. Picture could be from 1960. It could be from 1925. It could be from now. It's about that moment in time, but making it last throughout time. So this barn is probably half fallen down now. So we drive by barns we photographed over the years, and they're gone or not the same or painted.
Yeah. I would agree. They don't last for sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So to go back to your first question, we are digital photographers.
Yeah. Okay.
And we do edit them to be more, artistic in nature, except for that barn that you just saw, the winter barn. That's actually pretty much untouched.
Yep.
But when you saw the flowers, we add a lot of layers and textures to the photos. Actually, Randy does. I don't do the editing. So some of our photos are literally 13 different layers of photos. Although actually I did edit that picture.
That was all her. So but there's photos we do now that are there's so many layers involved. I have to save it and then again and build the layers up because it gets too big. I can't even save it on my computer. There's so many layers. You get to a point where the file just becomes too big, and that's because on certain layers in Photoshop, you're building layers. On certain layers, it's just one little change or one little thing, and then you're going on and you're combining those layers and then building upon it. So it's like when you build a house and you start with the foundation, you can't put in the doors before you build the walls. You have to build it up. And it's that layering thing. You wouldn't start with the roof and then build the foundation and then throw in a couple windows. You have to build it upwards, and that's how Photoshop works. So yes, digital photography. We shoot Nikon. I used to be a Canon shooter, but
that's a good example right there. So that photo right there, moonlit we call it, that's actually the tree line behind our home, and that is the super moon. So those are all of our images, but they're all put together to kind of make that whole scene, which is a little bit unrealistic, but yet, realistic enough. And so it's meant to kind of just give you more of an emotion and an overall feeling. Which is kind of our point. We kind of go for
a mood, a feel, an emotion, a style. It's meant to, I guess, mostly trigger emotions because a lot of people that see our artwork are like, A, that reminds me of, or B, I feel at peace when I see this, or hopefully not angry.
Haven't had that one yet.
Rage! Oh, moon rage!
But then that's also a good example of the framing. And I'm going to take another step back. So Tin Cat Studio came about because Randy then met me, and we did art shows. Our first year is Images by Lee Art. I didn't have a big hand in it, but as the year progressed, started taking more photos and becoming more of a collaborator. And it was confusing to people because Images by Lee, they thought it was my first name or his first name, and who's this Lee? And plus then we have the photography. We still do portrait photography under Images by Lee, and so we decided to change the name so it was something that was reflective of us both. So Tin Cat Studio is what we came back as, and because we use a lot of tin in our art, in our framing, and we also have a lot of cats.
Can you put the cat back up there? Can you put Princess Buttercup back up there for a second?
She's so sleepy.
Princess Buttercup. Oh my God, she looks so sleepy. All right.
So that's how then we changed the name, and it's definitely a collaboration between the two of us. So
we went through. I mean, we do a lot of. We went through a lot of names. We went through a lot of ideas, and we kept coming back to Tin Cat Studio because it kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit. It's kind of fun. People, it's amazing how people see our name and they just say it. Like you don't get that a lot. You're walking through the art show and people see Tin Cat Studio. Like, it's fun to say, and people remember it, and that's kind of what marketing is about, is coming up with a name that people will remember. I mean,
definitely. And I love your logo, because if you look at the logo, the cat's tail makes the word studio.
Yeah.
I love that. So
yes.
Clever. I was going to ask, we have a comment from Julie Brothers. That's our Aunt Julie.
I was going to say, there's got to be a relation there.
She's one of the original brother sisters. We're the second generation. So she's asking, do you custom or request?
Yes. Yep, we do that quite a bit for people. Typically, the one disclaimer we tell people is that when working with reclaimed materials, a lot of times people will say, well, I really like this frame, but I want a different image in it, or I want it a different size. Well, we do our best. We haven't really had any complaints about how well we've been able to handle the custom orders, but it is a disclaimer that reclaimed materials are usually one of a kind, and that's what makes them unique. Our images are done in a unique way, and our frames are done uniquely. So they are kind of a one-of-a-kind deal. So when you get a custom piece, it is going to be a little bit different than what you see. But we also work with people step by step throughout the process. Like if you're looking for a gray metal or a galvanized metal or a brown rusty metal, we're going to show you that piece of metal as we begin the process. So we work with you to pick out, size coordination, give you price quotes. We work with you through the steps to say, how does this look? Do you think this will be okay? Do these coordinate well? We think so. Do you think so? So that you're not disappointed. Like, we don't just call you and get an order and then show up with something and expect you to pay for a piece. We work hand in hand with people to develop a custom piece that's going to fit their home or their business or their office.
Yeah. And it can be their image as well. We don't just do our own. We do people's images. A couple, we just did somebody's old farm and then used, barnwood. And then one of our favorite was actually it was a Christmas gift or something. So a woman had taken a picture of her husband's old car in his garage. So there's literally tools and people, and Randy was able to take it out of the garage and get it in a field and create this really cool piece. So we can do stuff like that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was something different, but it was fun.
Now, I like this image that you set because it gives us a little bit a perspective on both the front of the frame and then off to the side.
Yep.
Yeah, and I did. Yeah, that was purposeful because they are many times very three-dimensional too. So we also, the finishing is actually encaustic. So rather than using glass, we're able to use this. It's a beeswax and a resin that's fused to the photograph, so it actually gives it a nice sheen, but also you can add different textures and things. And that image, there's the image itself, but then I also went back in and used pan pastels over the top of it to add more color, and then also some oil paints into the cracks and crevices, and then I fused it all together, so it's the image plus more. And then you can see the framing is very kind of three-dimensional, and yeah, it's a pretty cool piece.
Yeah.
Now, am I spelling that right?
Yes,
Yep.
it's encaustic. This is encaustic photography, which is when we do art fairs, which is kind of our main source. Well, was our main source of income,
And will be again.
Someday.
you know, you kind of have to find your niche. Is that the correct word?
Yes.
And there's many amazing, wonderful landscape and wildlife photographers out there. So that's one of the reasons we kind of took a little bit of a different direction. And so this is encaustic photography. There's also encaustic painting. We all use the same thing, just different ways of doing it.
Yeah, encaustic painting. We use a clear resin and wax, and painting, they add pigments to that same mixture basically, and they paint with it. A lot of times it's abstract because it's wax, it's a hot thing, but there's different ways to control it and create with it. So yeah, going back to what Lisa said, when the first couple of years we were together, and we took the time when we weren't doing shows to go to art shows. So we always spend our free weekends going to art shows and experiencing different art. And one thing we noticed a lot when we walked through photography booths was a lot of the same type of style and imagery, and you know, a lot of the photography you see is very much the same. So our goal was to be different from the beginning. You know, how can we not just repeat inventing the wheel over and over and over again? So no, we didn't invent encaustic photography, and we didn't invent
it's a thing,
rustic framing, but the combination, you know, we think that there's not a lot of it out there anyway. So we're trying to be a little bit different, and we're trying to still innovate and come up with new ideas constantly to stay on that forefront, because as styles change, and rustic farmhouse isn't going to be a thing forever, probably. Maybe it will be. Maybe we'll be lucky enough for it to last forever. But you know, our style is more, you know, that barnwood and that rustic look. You know, is it going to last forever? Probably not. So we have to still create and invent new things and keep rolling with the. You
guys should start a rustic urban phenomenon.
I call it farmhouse industrial. That's my.
I like it. I like it. So I'm gonna zoom in on you guys real quick and see what you're holding on to there.
These are just, oh my gosh, I can't do the like left right. Oh, so here's just an example of like same image, but two completely different ways that they're presented. So this one is in a nice old cool box that we distressed and painted.
It looks like a drawer.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And then this is actually I used a chainsaw, believe it or not, and
nice.
did a nice little hole in there, and then used wooden carving tools and embedded it actually into the old piece of wood that Randy was gonna burn. So kind of a in-person whatever example.
Nice. Love it.
Very cool.
I love it. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
All right. I was going to show that one. We got that. We showed that one. All right. Then you showed, I don't know if these videos are going to play. Let's see if they do. All right. And what am I looking, is that showing? Is that wait? You know,
I only
hang
see
on, I got it. I
it.
got it. Oh, there it is. Oh, what happened to it? Oh, you know what? Add it to the stream. Hang on, let's do that again. Okay, there it is. There, let's go. So tell me what I'm looking at here.
That's an encaustic block. So it's a little 4x4 blocks that we do. So it's a photo with the encaustic over the top. And it was just kind of a quick blurb to show people just kind of how it sheens. And then you can also, if you're up closer to it, you know, you see the texture that's actually in the encaustic. So it's kind of a different way to show it, the 3D.
That's cool. I got one more on there because I really liked this piece as well.
I don't even remember what I sent you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's excellent.
Yeah, that one's right here.
Yeah, that one's super cool. I'm just going to leave that right there so you can see it. And then.
Yeah, I actually have it right here in my office still.
Now, what is that embedded in? Is that wood?
Yeah, so this was actually, so this is the piece right here. This was a cutoff of something Randy was building, just a piece of wood, and I saw it and I'm like, give me that. But he had it was already kind of stained.
No, I had a different idea.
Or he had some. Okay, well, I took it from
Well,
him,
no,
and then
so I had a different idea previous to this, and it didn't work out. So this piece was just laying around. We had two of these pieces, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with these. And Lisa's like, give me that. I'm going to make something.
Yeah, so I did. So I actually took a type of paint that you can use different, like rusting and whatever. So you can see how it. Oh gosh, seriously. You can see, you know, it's not just went from kind of the, you know, that piece of wood to definitely some more interest and texture, and then embedded the photograph in there and then covered it with wax, so you can see how it sheens there.
So an encaustic process makes it unique too, because each piece turns out a little bit differently. You know, you could be using the same photo, but you end up with a little bit different. The way the wax runs, the way the wax melts, Lisa can add texture to it or make it smoother. So each piece does end up with a little bit of uniqueness to it. Even trying to make the same ones, they all turn out a little unique and different. So you're getting a piece.
I think that's cool. So
yeah,
that's totally cool.
It keeps it interesting too, rather than, you know, just we get to create something constantly, because like you say, we use a lot of the same images. Like every year we kind of have images that we use and then we move on the next year, but even though it's the same images, it's like we showed before, two completely different pieces. And then, you know, even this one, we've used that image, but it's several different pieces with that image, so it always looks different. Here was another one that we just finished. I was just going to show you quick because I think it's super fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So what the heck was that, Randy? Some sort of piece of
this piece of metal came from the junkyard, and it was
now, is that a raven or a crow that you've got there in there?
That is a blackbird.
Oh, it's
really shiny, bright.
Too shiny.
It's got more.
That's all right. No, you can see it pretty well. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So the piece of metal was in the junkyard. It was probably a piece of engine or machinery, something like that. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I love it when it's symmetrical like that, and you know, bolt pattern. I mean, I did the bolts, but it had the holes all even around. I'm like, oh, it's going to be perfect because an image is going to set in there. And then I took a piece of wood, cut it out to kind of match the contour of the metal, and then I had to carve out the middle of the wood so it set right in there. So there's a lot of work into this little bad boy, but that's kind of the fun in creating, and you never know how it's going to really turn out in the end.
It's going to turn out. No, that's completely awesome. So,
and this will be, you know, one of a kind, one and done, because
well, yeah, and that's what a lot of our stuff
we
is.
Try.
Because you you know, that is a particularly unique piece of framing material. So that's completely awesome.
Yeah.
So to go back to your question, can you buy from us? Yes.
Well, yeah, because like we've seen a number of your framed art. I mean, what else? I mean, you've got the framed art. What else can we buy from you?
We have
Um,
greeting cards.
I have kittens.
Yes.
No,
Coming
I
by.
have on and off sale beer.
We do have a full website where one page is art for sale, so it's everything that's already framed, ready to go. And then we have another page where it's images for sale. So I think we have like 200 different images on our website under that. So it's greeting cards, 8x10s, 11x14s, 12x18s, 16x20s, or emails if you need to go bigger. We can't do that, but we have people that can. So
All right. Well, see, and I got some info. You could go to the Tin Cat Studio website, and I'm going to do a share screen on that in just a second. You can also go to the Tin Cat Studio Facebook page. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to bring up your webpage so people can figure out what they're looking at.
we have Tin Cat Studio, man. We grabbed everything we could.
Smart.
YouTube,
Instagram,
Etsy,
YouTube.
like, grr.
So yeah, so if you're looking for Tin Cat Studio, this is what their website looks like. There's a lot to look at. There's some, again, you can see more of the art that's available. And again, you can, there's lots of the cool stuff, art, images, custom orders. So they've done a nice job of putting this website together. It's easy to follow. The prices are right on there. So there's literally no reason for you not to buy this art, people. That's all I know.
Well, another key thing we try to do is keep our prices affordable. I mean, we want to sell our art, and we want people to own our art, and we want people to talk about our art. So it's not $1 million. We try to make it affordable for normal people.
Normal people.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
The average person? I don't know. Yeah. Normal.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, yeah.
All right, then. My question to you, you've already answered this question, which was, can we see the new kitten? And the next question I have, let me do a quick share screen again, since I got you right here.
Baby kitten, so cute.
I believe you should have a kitten every time you guys take a trip somewhere. You should always just have a kitten with you.
Oh
so
my gosh, that would be a dream come true.
and so I guess my last question would be, what else should we know about Tin Cat Studios?
We're pretty awesome. We're nice people.
We're always coming up with new ideas, and
We're slightly nuts. So we have 4 dogs and 6 cats. Just so we're a little bit, but
we're we're normal. We're nice. Yes, we're nice. We're gonna be doing a show coming up. An art show.
We have lots of pets. Oh, we are. We're going to actually, there's 2 art shows coming up in the Minneapolis metro area in September. So not this weekend, but the next weekend, the Lakeville Arts Festival in Lakeville, Minnesota. And then one in Waconia at a winery whose name I can't remember.
Well, is this information going to be on your webpage?
They are. It is on our webpage, right under events. And both of them do have, for people that have gone to art fairs in the past, they like everything right now. There's new rules. You do have to sign up in advance. They're only allowing certain amount of people through. You have to wear a mask. So all of that information is under events on our website. But there's 2 coming up. So
that's awesome.
Really interesting.
Great.
We haven't really done an art show since February. So this will be, we'll see if we can remember how to do it.
Are you guys feeling art show rusty? Are you art show rusty?
Oh yeah. Not only art show rusty, but I don't know if I can lift anything anymore. I'm in a lot of shape.
Putting up
Soft-
our tent would be interesting.
Get soft banker's hands now. So,
Yeah.
so Ann, what kind of questions do you have for Lisa and Randy?
Well, I was wondering when you can, I know you're doing your couple of art shows in Minnesota, but when you get back to your regular routine of doing art shows, do you only do the Wisconsin, Minnesota area, or do you go further out into the United States, like Michigan?
Yeah, typically
We have done Michigan.
We've done Michigan. We found Michigan people just different. You know? No.
That's because we're Midwest. We're Northerners disguised as Midwesterners. So
most of them are kind of in the Midwest area, but we did go to North Carolina, Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
We did apply to one in Utah this year, but
that was canceled.
So
and we did Indiana.
We did
one in Michigan.
Where in Michigan?
Birmingham, which is
yeah,
like,
got a lot of money there.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that was a surprise. It was. I mean, we're pretty
we're pretty low key. I'm pretty sure our vehicle was the oldest
vehicle in
the city. And
Michigan people take their cars very seriously here. So you know, I'm like,
What I did know about barns on the way to the show, they were very well taken care of.
They were well taken care of.
Like each property of barns, not just the barn itself was well manicured, but the property itself, like Wisconsin people love their junk. And we have that everywhere. Like every farmer in Wisconsin, I believe, is a law that you have to save every piece of equipment and machinery that you ever owned and that your neighbors wanted to get rid of, but you thought you should keep and put in your back field. Now, Michigan people, I guess, don't do that. They keep it very well.
We like it tidy, you know, especially if you're like from the west side of the state and you have some sort of Dutch or German background. It's very tidy. It's it can be.
I was very impressed with the overall tidiness of these farming properties. That was a thing worthy of note on our travel there.
You hear that, Michigan? Yeah. You got tiny farms.
Yeah. In other words, Randy was disappointed because the barns weren't
that's too nice.
Rustic enough for him. He's like, it's got a tin roof. That's sided. That's painted. I can't have a picture of that.
Sorry, Randy.
No. It's a tidy place.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to
say. And Julie wants to send you a picture so that you can make a masterpiece for her.
Well, absolutely.
Something new.
And Julie, we will hook you up with the proper address, and we'll get you hooked up with a masterpiece. So awesome,
excellent.
That was
well. If next time you come to Michigan, you can always stay with us because we have. When it gets chilly, we can just put more cats on the bed. You seem comfortable with that, so that'll work out. And we have an extra. It's actually we call it Jenny's room, so you can stay in Jenny's room.
Which part are you? On the mid.
We're on the east side.
Wait,
we're
the wrong way. Wait.
Okay, you're good. Yep, you're good.
Right about there. You're right. Right about. Let's see. La 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 la. We're right about here.
Oh, you are on the.
We're about 50 minutes southwest of the Detroit metro area. Okay. So we're not in Wayne County where Detroit is. We're in the next county west of there. But Oh, you know where U of M is? You've heard of University of Michigan, Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we're near that.
Cool.
There's a huge art show in Ann Arbor every year.
Huge! Oh my gosh. Yeah, so you guys should come to the Ann Arbor Art Fair and give Duncan and I a reason to go, because usually when it's art fair time, we're like, we don't go because it's terrifyingly huge. But if you guys were there, we would totally make an exception and go.
Yeah, it's like 4 shows in one, so it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but it's also usually 150 degrees, I believe, that weekend.
And
usually,
100%
and there's
humidity.
usually some sort of giant thunderstorm that clears out about a quarter of them. So it's fun. We know it's art fair when it's 110 degrees, and then I have to shepherd my parents around. I'm like, so fun, so fun.
My Aunt Julie is inviting you to all of the different art shows they have in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is a lot.
Well, next year, who knows where we're gonna go?
Yay!
It's
Did she bite you?
She's biting me.
Such a
put me down. I hate you. Bad kitty.
Bad kitty.
Okay, she's going over there.
Did you see her fling this cat? Ew!
Oh, she looks so upset now. Like,
No, it's gonna be okay.
You hurt her feeling.
I did.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, cool. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to cut our interview short. It is 20 minutes to 8 here in Wisconsin, which means it's nearly my bedtime. So,
Yes.
it is a school night after all.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
But
Well-
hey, let me just take a moment to thank you guys for coming on today and sharing. I learned so much about your artwork today, you guys. And, I've known you for a while, but there's some really interesting things I learned today. So I am excited for you. I have a couple of pieces of your art in my home.
Yeah, I can see one right above your head there.
Right, that's right. That's the one that Joe got me as a present. 'Cause
Yeah.
he loves me.
Jeez.
Well, thanks
So,
for having us on.
It's a pleasure, and we would love to do more cross-curricular stuff. So,
Mhm.
anytime. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for Tin Cat Studio, you can find them on Facebook. You can go to their website, Tin Cat Studio. I believe it's just tincatstudio.com because they
Yep.
got them all. So,
Yep.
but yeah. And any parting shots?
I just want them to know that while they were having, you guys were discussing, and I was sitting here looking pretty, that I got on their website and I've been browsing the art and picking out the cards that I want and the piece of art that I want that Duncan should buy me because I'm so special. So it's a super easy website to negotiate because, as Jenny knows, if it's slightly difficult, I'm just like, all right, I'm done. So there you go. So yes, so it's really easy to find and really easy to negotiate because I did it right here without having to yell at anybody because I couldn't find what I was looking for.
Well, that is exactly what I wanted to hear.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
So
The only
easy,
thing
and
I would
brothers
add
can use it.
is if you are on mobile, you have to hit the little menu thing at the top. That's a little bit harder, but
It's okay.
it's
People should
Yeah,
just-
it's so yes, so nice job, nice web design. Yes.
Jan Stoffer is thanking you for a lovely interview. So thanks, Jan. It's good to see you. Hey, by the way, Jan, thanks again. And Jan Stoffer watched Hot Fuzz on our recommendation, and she loved it. So
How could you not?
I know, right?
How could you not?
Oh, speaking of that, you guys, we will be back tomorrow evening, Thursday, the 10th, where we will be reviewing the Anne's pick this week. It's a classic action movie, but more awesome than that, it is Pacific Rim.
Oh, I
have I seen-
haven't
Yeah.
seen that one.
It's a good one. And Anne, what are we drinking?
We're drinking Pacifico beer,
Yes.
Ah,
Right.
Japanese beer.
No. Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
yeah.
Oh, and what time are we getting on? What time are we getting on tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. It's tomorrow's my day off, so I can whenever you are.
Let's go 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock real time. Does that sound all right?
Real time?
That sounds perfect.
Anne calls it real time.
Eastern Standard Time because that's when real Americans, do stuff is on Eastern Standard Time. And whatever you guys do, I'm unaware of because that's like another dimension. So get with it.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Princess
So we'll see you.
says
Bye,
goodbye.
Princess Buttercup Kitten. Look, the kitten's not biting Randy, just Lisa.
You can't hear her growling.
I'm tired of being your sales monkey. Put me down.
I don't know. It's working. I bought 4 things already. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, you guys. Thanks again. Have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow,
Thank
7
you.
o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Well.
Bye.
Bye.